Okay, good morning. We're here to start another pool patio repair and another beautiful backyard. And what we are doing is we're going to be looking for any settling points. There's a lot of them. You can see the pavers have shifted there. But when you start getting back here, you see the coping starts tipping. Well, the reason it's tipping is it is actually loose and it is no longer glued to the pool. Well, good morning, ladies and men. This is the day after I washed it. This is what the patio looks like with 95% of the repairs done, 95 to almost 99% of the repairs done and washed. Took advantage of a wet day yesterday, the rain day. It rained throughout the day off and on. The only spot that's wet is underneath the bush right there, the flowers. And if you remember, I did a little short tutorial and you can see how dirty that used to be or was in that video. So you can see how clean it is now. So today I'm going to go around and fine tune coping stones and do a little touch-up repairs here and there that I noticed when I pressure washed. And we'll see how the day goes. It's going to be like 94 degrees today, so it's definitely not going to be a long day. All right, so I just went around and redid the coping and made the overhang pretty similar all the way around. So it has approximately like I'd say 3/4 of an inch overlap like it originally had in 80% of the pool. And over time they had shifted out. That's why they were so loose. So I just went back and started at the skimmer, went all the way around and trying to get the overhang close to the same all the way around. And when I did that, I got back over here and my gap actually disappeared to the point where it is less than that little wedge that I took out. See that little wedge? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start gluing them, starting here, doing the exact same direction that I just did, all the way around, and I'm going to see what I end up with here before I start cutting and trying to splice it perfectly. So I'm going to put you on time lapse. I'm basically going to clean the bottom of the paver, make sure the bottom of the paver's clean, make sure the metal's clean, put a little adhesive down, and tap them down. And I have some stone dust or some base material here if I need to add a little to it. And if you're wondering what type of glue or adhesive I'm using, it is spray foam 8-minute adhesive, super strong, and it is for retaining wall blocks, pavers, concrete, natural stone, brick, porcelain, steel, and metal. So right there, SRW products. And I've had pretty good luck with this. I just don't like the guns. The guns fail. So I always just try to start off with a brand new gun. They're like $30 or $40 for the gun, and each can is about $30 or $40. And then you always got to get a couple cans of cleaner. So I have a whole bunch of cans in the trailer of both. So we're gonna go for what we can today, see what we can get done, and if I get all the caps done today in this heat, I will be very happy, because then they can settle, and then they can secure overnight, and then I can do the fine tuning tomorrow of the rest of the pavers, and then take the weekend off, and then come back and do the polymeric sand possibly, or depending on the weather, might do the polymeric sand over the weekend. We will see. All right, let me get started. Well, I'm gonna get a drink of water first, and then I'll put you back on time lapse like I did. I'm sure you're not gonna want to watch. This is gonna take hours and hours and hours. A lot quicker, a lot slower than I just did readjusting. All right, guys, that was one long hot day. It's 93 degrees out, and I was able to glue all the coping all the way around. It took me the whole day, and I think 7 cans of that retaining wall concrete adhesive. So when you're doing that, the most important edge you want to worry about is the inside edge all the way around. And what I actually did was I actually reset it and did it nice and tight, but I actually made sure the overhang was the same, pretty close to the same all the way around. And when I did that, it eliminated that little wedge. Well, first it eliminated the gap that I had with the first time I did it. Second is it eliminated a wedge. So it's all full pieces all the way around. So let me walk you around and I'll show you here real quick. Don't worry about the pavers on the outside edge. Those I have to adjust tomorrow to the coping. The most important thing with the coping is the inside pool edge looks good and as smooth as possible with a pretty consistent overhang. I got like 3/4 of an inch overhang around the whole pool. And I made sure the pool liner keeper was hammered in the whole way around also. And if the other thing that I forgot to tell you is there's holes in the top of that metal. If you see me with the blue masking tape putting a little tiny pieces over wherever those holes are, we're only where they line up with the gap of the paver. If you do not, you could dump a whole bag of polymeric sand down there, and you don't want to do that. This way it prevents you from wasting material and prevents it from settling that much longer. So you could use any tape, masking tape. I just happen to have the blue masking tape, duct tape, whatever. The polymeric sand will actually congeal over it or harden over it, so you won't have to worry about it if the paper disintegrates over time. All right, well, let me walk you around and I will show you how it came out, and then I'm gonna go home and shower because it's 6 o'clock at night. It was a long day. All right, let me give you a quick walk around. All right, we're gonna start at a skimmer and we're gonna go clockwise. Let's see if I do this without dropping the phone in the water. All right, good late morning. As you can see from yesterday doing the caps, the water is extremely high. So I actually brought my water pump that I use to drain my pool when it gets too high. I brought my pump. I got the pump going. It's gonna drain I'm gonna drain the water down just till it reaches the proper height of the skimmer, because you can actually see that it's so high the skimmer's not even working. Here, let me zoom in, I'll show you. And ever since I started this job, they've had a very wet yard over on the side here. And the water, if you do I'm not gonna set up a laser, but this water, I think, is overflowing out of the skimmer right there and leaching out the yard right there and making that really muddy. So when I walk in it, it makes mud. See, right there. And then it just stays wet from that point on. So I honestly think when the pool is so high and it can't drain properly, that's the problem. So I got they're not around, so they're not gonna be around for a couple days. So to eliminate any problems for them and for me, because if the water gets too high, I can't do the polymeric sand that easy. I'm going to just drain a couple gallons out and go from there. All right, well, let me finish setting up. Today, my main concern, it's gonna be another hot day, is I gotta push this down, get rid of that. That's a little extra foam sealant, that adhesive that secures these. But I have to seal some of the gaps so that when I do the polymeric sand, it doesn't go in the pool. So you can see, that might not be a good example. Let's see, some of the ones that they didn't do a clean cut on them. So you can see, if I pour polymeric sand in here, it's all gonna go in the pool. So what you gotta do is you gotta kind of block it from going there. I don't care if there's polymeric sand from this point, but from here, this way, there's gotta be. So that's gonna be a long, slow, tedious day. That's on the agenda for today. I'm probably not gonna record it because it's gonna be 95 degrees and the camera's gonna keep shutting off. And if by chance I get all that done, then there's some few little repair spots I wanna do. Now let's get this day started. See, I have it draining right off into the woods right there. Looks nice though. Let's check the skimmer, see if there's any frogs. I don't know if you can see this, but if the water's too high, the particles that float on the surface can't get in the skimmer. But just that little bit, I already got it an 1/8 inch below the skimmer. And you can see now it's starting to collect some of the surface debris into the skimmer. So we're gonna drop it down another, probably 2 inches. Yeah, we'll drop it down another 2-3 inches for them. That way it's good to go for the weekend in case I'm not here. All right, well, it's gonna be a hot one. Let's get started. As you can see, I got my umbrella hat on because of the heat. So that means no music. And of course I wore a cotton shirt today. This is why they say cotton kills, because it is so saturated with sweat already. So anyways, I'm gonna leave my camera off and over in the shade, and I'm gonna get started doing the best I can in this heat. Well, it's not even the heat, it's the humidity. The humidity is really, really tough. So, all right, well anyways, and plus everything's boiling hot. So anyways, I will see you once I get started. I'll just keep you updated, or I'll show you once it's done or something. But I'll explain how I did it once I'm done. So this is the one I'm gonna start on, and this is the exact reason. So if I pour sand in here, it's gonna go right out there through that hole into the pool. And if you notice, the pavers are touching, but they cut them wrong. Plus they cantilever over the pool. So ideally, these should be all mortared, but that's not how the original builder did it. So they did the polymeric sand right to it, and I'm sure they filled the pool up when that happened. So I am gonna try to prevent that. There is gonna get some sand in there, obviously, but you don't want to flood the pool. It'll ruin, the polymer in it will clog up their filters real quick. All right, so that's where I'm gonna start, right next to the ladder, and I think I'm gonna go this way. All right, I'll see you once I get started. So I'm taking a water break in the shade, the only spot in the shade, and I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna prevent the polymeric sand from getting into the pool. This is, over the years, the best way I've found. As long as you get your pavers as tight as possible when you glue them, so they're touching at obviously the closest point. Get yourself some caulk saver polyfoam. It's from Frost King. I get 2 sizes, 3/8 and 5/8. And they do have other sizes. I think they go all the way down to 1/8 inch, but 1/8 inch is actually way too small because you need it to expand. So you got 3/8 and you have 5/8 is what I have right here. Okay, Home Cheapo sells it. They come in 20-foot lengths, and this is what it looks like. So what I do is I go through, I take the time, let me get all this out of the bin, and I take the time and I just cut it. My pavers are 3 inches tall, so I cut it about 2 to 3 inches, you know, roughly. It doesn't have to be exact. And I just cut it all up in a whole bunch of pieces. And it's obviously, you got to make sure you bring scissors that day, because it makes it a lot easier and quicker. And I will show you how I get it in there. Obviously, you can see some of my tools that are right in this pan. Oh, let me tip the camera down. There you go. So you can see some of the tools that I use, but I mainly use 2 things. The knee board, obviously, is one of them, because the pavers are hot and you're gonna burn your skin if you're on the pavers. This is gonna take me, I got it half done already. roughly half done, maybe a little less, with 20 feet of the 3/8, 20 feet of the 5/8. So I might run out. If I do, I'll just come back tomorrow and finish. But while I'm taking a water break, I want to, in the shade, I'm going to do this. And then I'll actually show you how I do it. Once I get all this cut up, I got about another 10 feet to go here. But over the years, I have tried all different ways, and take the time, devote the time to do this, because the last thing you want to do is upset the homeowner with 150 pounds of sand in the bottom of the pool. Otherwise, you're going to have to hire a pool company to come and vacuum out their pool if you want good customer relations. The homeowners do expect to get some debris in the pool when you're working around the pool. That's expected. But you don't want, like I've gone to job sites of other contractors to try to bail them out of trouble when they've actually had so much polymeric sand get into the pool that it actually clogged their filters, because it turns into a gel, clogs their filter, and burnt out their pumps. Those customers were so unhappy that the contractor actually had to call me and hire me to come in and take over for his guys, because at his expense, actually, at the contractor's expense, because the homeowner wanted them off the property because they were just so fly by night, and were basically, oh well, that's the homeowner's problem, when it's not the homeowner's problem. You're the contractor. You're supposed to be the professional. You're supposed to be having the best interest of the customer, not the best interest of you. It's the best interest of the customer. And I treat my customers as if it was my own house. However I would want it done, or what I would expect, that's what I put to my level of expectations when I'm at a job. I may not be the fastest contractor because I do little things like this, but that's why I get the referrals. I don't even advertise. It's all referrals from past customers, previous customers, future customers. Supply houses refer me. They've seen my work and have gotten callbacks from my customers recommending that they refer me. So, all right. So now you got them all cut up. You got two different sizes. It's actually pretty cool. The small ones flew farther than the big ones, and I cut them both at the same time. That's pretty cool. Huh. All right. Well, let me finish my water break, and then I'll show you what I did so far. All right. Well, my water break is over, so I'm going to show you how to do it. I started here, and I got all that done up to about there. So I got to continue working my way this way, around, and through the ladder. But before I get started with that, because I'm not recording it, I'm just going to show you how I'm doing it. So I'm going to do these sections here, maybe that one and that one, or that one, whatever. But I'm going to do these since it's right next to the shade, and hopefully you'll be able to see how I do it. So let me set the camera up, and we'll go from there. As you can see, there's a large gap here. This is the glue, the adhesive. But if you look right through here, you could actually see right at the bottom down there, you could actually see the water. Okay? And if I fill this void up with polymeric sand, all that sand is going out to the pool. So what I have to do is I have to fill that void up. So let me move the camera out of my way, and I'm going to show you how I do it. So first I take some of the larger ones, and my goal is to fill that void down there. So you can no longer see the water, right? All right, but it doesn't mean there's no gaps. So you push it down in there. Obviously you don't want to push it all the way through. Take another one just to make sure. And it's all right if it cuts it, like this trowel is cutting it up, because it's going to re-expand in there. But you want to get it deep in there, all the way down, as deep as you can. All right, so now that's all the way down in there. Then what I do is I'll take a long one, a skinny one. I'll hold it about a 1/2 inch above, get it to the end, to where I want the sand to go, and I lay it down. So now that's laid down. If you look, let me see, move my hand. This one, the skinny one, is sticking up and is laid down on top of those bigger ones, which are actually blocking the void. And then if you're really not sure if that's going to prevent the sand, so since this one's laying down, you know it can't go this way, and it's nice and tight in there, right? So if you think there's another void down here, just take another big one and layer it. Got to make sure you get it down in there though, because you need your depth of sand. You need at least 1 inch polymeric sand for excuse me, for it to bond like that. So now that's done. So when I go to do my sand, I will do all the edging with a hand broom, little by little, by hand. And then that way I minimize the amount of sand that gets past these. Then I activate it all, and then once everything's gelled up, then I can come back with my trowel, and then I can either cut this off and tuck it in there, or I can just tuck it down in there and you'll never see it once the polymeric sand is cured. Now this is a large job, so I am coming back for other work anyways, so I will just leave these up for the day after I polymeric sand it, and then just cut them off the next day or the day after, because I'm going to be at this job for a while. The longer you leave them up, the better it is for the sand. All right, so this one's done. So no matter what, and this is my glue, so I know my glue is solid all the way down to the metal on the pool. So now let's do this one right here, which is super tight. And I'll show you, you still got to do those because you can still see through the pool. If I move my camera over, you can actually still see. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but I can actually still see pool daylight in there. So I definitely have to do that also. So let me do that one. So here's the one we just did. So this one, I'm gonna probably put it right about here. So I'm just gonna take little ones. And if I can do it with a little one, let's try a bigger one. So as you can see, depending on the gaps, these aren't going to all be in line. So it doesn't matter because I don't need any sand here because it's already super tight. So this is basically going to go from sand from here to here. So let's do this one. I just did 4 of them for you, different thicknesses. You can see this one. So the polymeric sand will go to here. I'll cut that off, then I'll stuff it down in there. You won't see it. This is a much larger gap, and you can actually even see some of the adhesive right there. So that's gonna go back a little bit farther. And then this one is a super tight gap, but I made sure I sealed it all the way down in there with a couple other pieces, because if I just put this up here, it still can go underneath it. So I pushed a couple pieces all the way down in there and did that. And then here's another one at this end. And you can see the glue, and I was able to secure it right there. And I have about a little over 1 inch there, have a little over 1 inch there, have about 1 inch there. And then you'll know which ones you did because you have the little finger sticking up right here. And you could see all those have the little gray finger. Well, I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on the camera or not, but they stop right over near that hydrangea, right about there. So I'm gonna go back over there, and I'm gonna just continue going all the way around the whole pool. And it's hot, so I'm not gonna record it. I'm just gonna get it done and keep the camera off and keep it in the shade. You don't need to watch every single part of it. But best way to keep the polymeric sand out of your pool. All right, well, I don't know if you can hear that, but Mother Nature sky is opening up. I can hear it in getting closer. And luckily I just finished all the foam all the way around the pool. Oh, there it comes. All right, I'm done. I'm all picked up. Trailer's locked. And it's a nice way of Mother Nature ending my day early for me because of the thunderstorms that are coming through. Nice hot day, but I got what I wanted to get done, completed. And good thing I drained the pool because we're gonna get more rain. And I think I stopped just in time. Works for me. Well, it's another Saturday, and I promised myself I wasn't going to work weekends this year, but it's another Saturday. And I got rained out yesterday but I was able to finish putting all the foam spacers in like that. And that's going to prevent the polymeric sand, when I fill this with polymeric sand, draining into the pool. Well, it's going to reduce it. I'm hoping it prevents it, but it'll reduce it at least. So I just tied up, you can see wherever the hydrangea are, they don't dry. So I just had to put string up on those, come around. And this is a troublesome one because it's so large. I had to tie this one up with rope and the sticks and readjust the sticks because, and this one, when I come back Monday, which is the only dry day that it's not going to rain, I have to do the polymeric sand, and I got to make sure all these spots are dry. So that's priority. That was priority for today to get that done. The next thing is I'm going to take my roller. Well, actually, before that, I'm going to go and fine tune all the pavers around the coping stones because all the coping stones are secured already. And then once those are where I want them, then I'm going to take my vibratory roller and I'm going to roll the whole patio. And if I see any other little imperfections that bother me, I'll address them as I see fit. But this is getting to the last steps of getting ready for the polymeric sand. So I discussed with the homeowner. The homeowner decided to go with the tan polymeric sand. So it'll make these harsh lines a lot softer for a couple years until Mother Nature takes over and turns them dark. And I should be doing that Monday. And then Tuesday I'll come back and I'll tuck in all the styrofoam if I don't get to it Monday. It's gonna be a long day for me Monday. All right, well, I got the backpack blower started. I am going to blow off the patio here real quick. And I'm gonna check the skimmer to make sure no frogs got sucked up in there. And it looks like we got an inch and a half of rain overnight because the pool level went up again. But still a little bit lower than the skimmer max height, so. All right, well, let me get started. All right, well, I am officially ready for polymeric sand. This is going to be a lot of sand and a whole day. I think I'm going to have help when I come back to do the polymeric sand. So hopefully I can get it in one whole day. It'll be a long day, but you don't get smoother than that for a restoration of an entire pool patio. Looks pretty good. There's some areas that I just could not get the way I wanted without taking up the entire patio area. But that's expected with a 20-year-old pool patio. But for the most part, this thing came out beautiful. I can't wait to see it with the polymeric sand. We're going, like I said, we're going tan sand, and that's water from I just saved another frog. But yep. So I'm hoping in 2 days we should have one dry day. So I'm hoping everything dries up and I can get the sand done that day. Fingers crossed, because otherwise it's going to be a week of rain. But yep, I am confident that I am ready for sand. I will go back and check all my foam blockings before I do the sand. But the coping is going to be one process, and then after that I'll do I do believe, or I might do this deep end as one section, and then this back side here as another section, and then there, and then work my way out instead of doing the whole patio at once, because this weather is out of control. It's not supposed to rain, and then it rains. So you cannot have any polymeric sand where you don't want it if it rains. All right, well, I'm going to let the roller compactor cool down. My EZG roller cool down. It has 4 of those rubber rollers on it, and it smooths out the entire patio. I cannot run over the coping stones because those are glued to the pool, the metal pool frame, and I don't want to pop them off because it hits really hard. It's 380 pounds, 390 pounds, I do believe. But yeah, it is done for today. All right, good morning. This is the only day that's not going to rain, so we have to get the sand done. So I have Tyler over there giving me a hand. He's with a backpack blower trying to dry off some of the water. And you can see I had him blow the tree off. So the tree, any water on the tree would drip down now. And then that way it starts drying because the paver's got to be dry. So he's drying off that corner near the shed. And then once he's done with that, he's going to move his way right around and start blowing this area dry. And he's going to work himself right around. This is where the compactor has a garbage bag on it, the roller. And then I am going to start doing some small repairs that I want to get done while we're waiting for it to get in the sun and dry. Got a nice early start today. Try to get this patio done. I already went around and double checked all the foam because it's been a weekend, been 2 days, well actually 1 day. So the foam is as good as I can get it around the perimeter of the pool, prevent the polymeric sand from going in there, and we're good to go. So I'm gonna get started on some repairs. I'm gonna let Tyler continue drying the patio off with the backpack blower, and then my goal is to start pretty much at the skimmer, work my way around this way, and come this way and work our way right out. All right, see you when we're doing the sand. All right, so I finished all the little repairs I wanted to get done, and I just dumped the first bag. I am going to go around the soldier course, or the coping stones, and you can see I'm doing every one by hand. I'm only bringing it up to that foam, and then that way nothing goes into the pool. And I will work this bag around the edge and out a little bit. We still got to hit this with a compactor. So we're going to leave it like that. And then we got to clean these all out after. And I'll do it with the big broom, obviously. But I want to get the edging done with a hand broom. Prevent as much from going in the pool as possible. And it's already 85 degrees, so I'm going to stick you all the way down in the shade somewhere and put you on time lapse. Well, the first section is done. I'm not sure how many bags it took, but from the ladder over to the shed is done. Now I have to move the camera down in the sun. I mean, out of the sun down there. I got Tyler helping me today. Say hi, Tyler.
Hello.
And we got to get it done. Today's the only day with no rain for next week. So he already spaced out some of the bags of polymeric sand. And now we're going to do the part right there. We're going to work our way right around. Well, that's section number 2. That's 9 bags right up to the compactor. Well, right about here. And you could see where I put that foam. Tyler's sweeping the sand right up to the edge of the foam, and it's minimal is going in the pool. Otherwise, it would just be bleeding out right down into the pool. So that's the benefit of me doing this foam, and then I'll come back after the polymeric sand's cured, and I will cut it off or stuff it down in there and it'll disappear forever. All right, well, let me get going with section number 3, which is going to be from the compactor back to where I'm standing while Tyler finishes that area up. So section number 3, that was a large section. Tyler's cleaning up the edge there, and I just got to sweep that one more time. And then we're gonna start moving everything down that way toward the gate. This will be the next section. From that gate to the porch to there. Getting there. I am gonna move the camera once again. So camera change is going to be, we're going to be down over in the shade near the shed. This camera's got to stay in the shade, otherwise it overheats. But this part will be last. So I'm gonna go over there and start moving some of the equipment and excess stuff out of the way, and then we'll start down that end. All the polymeric sand is swept in. All nice. Now I'm gonna take the backpack blower and blow everything off very lightly away from the pool, and that'll get rid of all the brush strokes from the broom while Tyler picks up. And so far I haven't seen any polymeric sand go into the pool. So that's good. I didn't see any leaks. This is what I was talking about. If I didn't put that foam, all that polymeric sand right there leaked down on the outside there, which is not a big deal out there, but if it went in the pool it would just be pain in the butt. All right, so let me get the backpack blower going, and then we got to set up some garden hoses and get the compactor down. It's all blown off. I got the garden hose all set. I'm gonna start here and work my way around, keeping the whole thing wet at a time, for a while, because it's hot out, so I got to keep from baking. And then once I get to that point, I'll stop and I'll start back over here, and I'll work my way right out that gate, and then we will be done. My battery's running low, so I hope you get to see some of this. All the polymeric sand is wet. It's already starting to dry. Got the pool area with the pool shed area. I'll come back tomorrow and cut all the styrofoam that is keeping the polymeric sand from going in the pool. And I will release all the bushes, and then the pool patio portion of this job will be done. And it actually worked really well. Most of that dirt, or 99% of that dirt, is from when I was pressure washing in the pool. 99% of that is when I was pressure washing the coping stones, trying to shoot it this way. Some of the basement here would shoot up. But yeah, this is done. I am very happy with this. It's going to take a good 24 hours for it to really start to cure up. And after a week, it'll be pretty much 100%. All right, well, I'm going to finish picking up the tools, and then we're going to get out of here for the day. So it's been a few days since I did the polymeric sand, but it has been raining every single day. But I want to check out the pool. It has rained 5-6 inches at least since I've done this, and it looks good. Look how nice. He vacuumed out the pool. Looks like I was never here. Patio looks good. I still got to do the foam on the edges, but this is one thing I want to do. Put that there. If I do this, I'll fall in the pool and one-handed. There we go. What I am going to do is I'm going to wait. We got a couple dry days coming up. I'm going to wait and take the foam out after we get a couple good dry days. Looks good. And this is that pool patio job that we did a couple days ago. We did a polymeric sand. It's nice and hard. Look at this. Hey. Can't even pierce it. Look at that. Nice. So I got to go back around and cut all these and stuff them out of the way so you don't see them. But zero sand in the pool. So we're going to try to keep it that way. It's official. The pool patio is done. There's all the little foams that I cut off and tucked down in there. And here's one reason. It's only been a week and they already got organic stains on it. See the grapevine that they just cut? That wasn't cut. So all the birds were going up there, eating all the berries and whatever's up there, and pooping and all that, and that's what's staining the patio. So they cut the vines. But even this tree here, there's a whole bunch of seeds on it. That's gonna, see all the berries? Crab apple, I don't know what they are, cherry trees, I don't know. And that's gonna start staining the patio all over again. That's why you try not to have any trees overhanging a paver patio or a pool patio. A, because of the leaves. B, because of the staining abilities. But that's where I sat, so I like that tree. That's where all my shade was. For this whole job, I was able to sit in the shade. All right, guys, that's a wrap for this pool patio restoration. I just finished taking all the styrofoam blocks or the little styrofoam pieces out that prevent the polymeric sand from getting into the pool. So it is done. They've already started using it. It's been about a week. Polymeric sand is rock hard, and all the repairs are done. They're satisfied. I'm happy with it. All the coping stones are resecured. I do believe this is gonna be a 3-part video, so start at video 1 and check them all out. And there's a whole bunch of other hardscape restoration videos on my channel, so I hope you get to see some of them, give you some pointers on how I do it. As you can see, I have time for a new shirt again. But anyways, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to leave comments, go ahead and leave comments. Just keep the language kid-friendly, because I'm trying to keep it a kid-friendly channel. All right, well, don't forget to like and subscribe. Trying to hit the 100,000 subscriber point pretty soon, so fingers crossed we get there. All right, well, see you in the next video.